they're in control of all of us. And those systems are used by them to achieve their goals. And they've run the show, as you know, for thousands of years.
Yes.
This isn't going to change. And having good feelings about, a higher level of consciousness isn't going to get you out of a prison camp that it's coming. And it is coming.
Well, you know what? I've been predicting this and researching it, 25 years. And I really got tired of it. I wanted to do something. What can I do? What can I do? I mean, that goes through my mind every day. Every morning I wake up. What can I do today? What can I do better than I did last time? I started the militias. Well, guess what? Guess what? Here is the militia statement. I started this. This is the American Constitutional Militia Network. This was created by my friend Jim Strode, who took over the New Mexico militia after I got busy elsewhere, after I took off somewhere. And here's what they believe. It is our considered opinion that America was founded as a constitutional republic based upon Judeo-Christian principles, as a nation built upon the idea that all are free to worship in their daily lives as they see fit. Our greatest guarantee is that life is sacred and is guaranteed within our borders in all cases except as punishment for a capital offense. 2, we believe that all rights come from God, whomever we as an individual deem that to be, and that no mortal man has the authority to deny the individual their rights except as punishment for an actual crime. While we support the Constitution of the United States, we acknowledge that we live under a de facto illegal government that has usurped our rights, turning them into privileges, and in many cases suppressing these rights by abolishing them altogether. We believe that the basic freedoms are summarized in the Bill of Rights are those not specifically mentioned, and those not specifically mentioned are protected by the 10th Amendment. We believe that the right of free men to rebel against tyranny by exhausting all legal and peaceful remedies, eventually extraordinary measures if necessary. It is the position of this body that one of the great hallmarks of our constitutional republic is the right to own property. That inherent in that right is the belief we have and should not be deprived of the ability to defend our property from trespassers and invaders, and nor be forced to give up our property via eminent domain for non-essential uses. As embodied in our rights is the acceptance that free men shall never be denied access to their personal arms. Ultimately, no right is safe when the tools of enforcement are taken away. As a moral people, we believe that the 10 Commandments are a set of laws that can and should be bound by. And you've heard that the Occupy has no purpose, it has no goals. They don't, they want you to think it's just a mob. What I believe they're doing is setting us up for a conflict with the police. They won't, to me, what should be happening with these protests, Occupy Wall Street protests, the police ought to be escorting the demonstrators to the banks. Not trying to contain them, not trying to push them over here, not trying to force them, not trying to show their might. Hey, boys, we'll walk with you. We're people too, And this is what I tried to stress here. We've all got the same abilities. We've all got the same opportunities here. We've all got the same knowledge. How do we put that to use? And my friend Mike Harris, he came up. He ran for governor here. This is the people that I hang out with. He says, across America, citizens and veterans alike watch in horror and disbelief while police forces across the country inflict violence against peaceful protesters. These college-age kids are our children, the veterans are our brothers, and the old folks are our parents. We watch as the mainstream media attempts to dilute and manipulate the message, make false claims that the demonstrators have no message. The demonstrators have a message, and it is very clear. We are saying we want justice for all. We want the Wall Street bankers who have crippled and robbed our country, robbed all of us, and robbed future generations brought to justice. We want the bankers tried and held accountable for their crimes against us. And we want clean and fair government, not government for sale to the highest bidder. Wall Street bankers have stolen all our money. We can no longer afford to influence our elected officials because the Wall Street bankers have driven the price to own a politician through the roof. We want the banking system totally rebuilt. We want an end to the Federal Reserve Bank. We want the U.S. Treasury to do its constitutionally mandated function. We want our jobs back. It's no longer acceptable for CEOs to ship our jobs to China and offshore production just to make their bonuses and inflate the value of their stock options. We want a justice system that is fair to the people. We want police that assist and protect the public, not the iron boot of fascism on our throat. We object to the violation of our Fourth Amendment rights when catching an airplane. We want the Patriot Act repealed and the U.S. Constitution restored to the supreme law of the land. We want the border secured and illegal aliens returned to their homeland. We want our churches, schools, neighborhoods free of drugs and criminals that molest our children. We want an honest and truthful investigation of the treason of 9/11. We want the real perpetrators punished for those crimes against us and our country. I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't think that's asking for much. And I don't think any of us ought to be made into criminals, terrorists, because this is what we want for our children and our people. Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to get you off track. I just want to interject that you have to be out here by 7:45. You want to leave the questions you get don't be like.
I'm recording right now. I'll be glad to take any questions. Anybody?
Do you want the video component or should we leave that out?
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Okay.
But,
You know what, Mary, you work for the city, you work for
yes, ma'am. Yes. She's a good reporter. She's a good reporter. She's a good writer, and she's done. She's documented the steps to fascism.
What's her name?
Naomi Wolf.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What's happened to her?
She got arrested at the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
downtown.
Right, along with others, yeah.
I haven't flown since 9/11. I won't fly. I ain't taking my boots off for no foreigners. Not gonna happen. So if I do a lecture anywhere, I do it on Mother's Island. It's I was going to tell you I had an answer. I came up with an answer, and I planned it. And this may be one of the reasons that because I had it on the centerfold of my magazine when I got hit. It was for Liberty Villages. Anybody know what that is? Liberty Village, I asked myself, how did people survive 10,000 years ago? How did people survive here in this country 200 years ago? They had windmills, they had water, they grew their own food. Why can't we do that here? This is what I planned for my property. And here's another idea, great idea. I had my property sold. I was going to get enough money out of that to put low-cost structures on it. Right now, you can get a yurt for about $6,000. You can get a teepee for about $3,000. And in New Mexico, I had 5 acres. I wanted to put 10 teepees on it, put 1 yurt on it. The yurt was a restaurant. The restaurant featured organic food grown right there, not transported, grown right there. Range-fed beef grown next door to that farm over there. And if you've got low-cost structures, first of all, you move into a $6,000 yurt. You don't have to pay, first of all, I don't think we all need 2,000 square feet. You know, Indians got about 10,000 years of just fine in the teepee. You can still see them up in Canada, up in the northern lights shining over all the snow, and the teepees are burning bright, and people are living in them. They got them up in the mountains too, the yurts and all that. A yurt is a Mongolian teepee. It's basically a tent.
With the round.
It's round. It's round, and it's got you know, the supporting name, but about $3,000. I think that would be preferable especially if you're like a young married couple. You get that $100,000 house. Over 30 years, you pay for it 3 times. 3 times. You pay $300,000 for a $100,000 house that's worth 20. And if you can grow your own food, now this really requires, and it hasn't worked yet because it requires people working together. What's that? Yes, ma'am, I believe they are. I believe they are. I've been talking about it for 8 years and encouraging everybody to do that. I also, on my website, on freeamerican.com, I've got a picture of the monolithic domes. It's grown, it's made right there in Texas. I just had the gentleman on my show. If you go down to my archives page, you can hear the manufacturer. And you can make those as easily, any size. They, basically, you lay one sheet down, lay another sheet down. You put air in in a bag, it blows up, and it makes a dome. And then they put the material over it, they blow it up, and they spray it with water, and it turns into concrete. That's right. And it's hurricane proof, it's tornado proof. You could have, if Planet X is coming and you got 200-mile-an-hour winds, one of these little dome homes will just sit there.
Is it anchored?
Yeah, it's anchored, it too, sure. Let's go to my website. I got it all right up there. And you know, I like the idea of teepees because I believe if you're driving down the street and you see a food, coffee, and vacancy sign with a bunch of teepees there, you know, would you stop there or would you go down and look for a Motel 6?
Or you rent it out?
Yes.
Yeah, good idea.
And so you buy one, you can live in one, buy two, and you can rent the one next door to you out. And then when you start bringing the tourists in, that way that avoids the feds going, oh, this is one of those, there's compounds. This is a compound. No, it's a Motel 6 without the slasher. You know. You can have them up to 20, 30 feet. I mean, I got a picture. If you go to libertyvillages.org, you can see the inside of the teepees, man. They're beautiful, you know. And you know, both the monolithic dome homes and the teepees and the yurts got one other advantage too. They don't have corners evil spirits can hide in. I never liked boxes. I never liked boxes much, you know. Don't like being put in a box. But if you can grow your own food and generate your own energy, you know, Obama's, this is the way I tried to explain this, Obama's idea of greening America is to sell the top of that mountain over there to a foreign corporation, and the foreign corporation will bring windmills from China in and put it on top of that mountain, pipe the energy that it generates down to the power company, and then they'll sell it to you. Why not cut out the middleman? Why not put the solar, put the wind, put the magnetic generator in your garage and tell the power companies what they can do? That's right.
behavior, you are-
Let's see, wait a minute, no, it's got a really, special ingredient, it's called silicone. Not exactly like running out, and the whole fact is, you can take water, our ships could be running on water as they go across. And as they're motivating across, the little paddle wheels outside the boat could be generating electricity. As a matter of fact, I've interviewed some people that are planning whole communities on the boats with a trailer that you can, a barge that you pull behind the houseboat that's got your garden. Yes, ma'am.
I was listening to your speaker on one of alternative media shows recently, and I cannot recall the name, but he made such an incredible point. We were having a conversation kind of like we're having, and at one point he said, the only reason that these things, these communities that you're talking about, just bypassing the energy companies and generating our own energy, the only reason these things haven't come to do that is because of us. It all goes back to us. The day we claim our power and listen to what you're saying and say, of course I can do this, I'm going to go home and do it right now. Until we become like that, things are going to continue to stand. It always goes back to us.
And if you go out and talk to your neighbors, this whole plan that I had for Liberty Villages, I got into this because I tried to buy a town. I raised $250,000 in 1 month to buy a town called Pius. I put it on the cover of the Free American magazine. The governor, Bill Richardson, came on and said, we need to buy Pius. They overbid me by $3 million. They bought it and they turned it into an anti-terrorist training camp. New Mexico. Yeah, and I sent a photographer down to photograph the place so I could put it up on the internet. And he was talking, there's about 10 families still living there. Phelps Dodge owned the town. There's still about 10 families there. And they had all been told that this militia guy from Albuquerque was coming there and he planned on sitting up on that mountain shooting illegal aliens. Again, it's just demonizing. I came here and I came out with my book, Mystery Babylon. I passed out my cards in every biker bar around there. Hey, I do Thunder Rider. I did Thunder Rider. I'm Clay Douglas. Here's my show. Here's my show. Here's my business card. Here's my business card. I passed out to everybody, and I sold a couple of books within the biker community. And then suddenly, I was persona non grata in the biker community. Yeah. Clay, we don't want you in here. We don't want you in here. What's your problem? What's your problem? Well, you're selling that book to raise money for a snitch named Huevos. First of all, don't know any snitch named Huevos. Second of all, the only person I'm selling this book for to make any money for is me. I wrote the book. I'm selling it. It's my book. I don't know anybody named Huevos. Well, he put so-and-so's husband in prison, and I don't know so-and-so, I don't know her husband, I don't know. So how do you tell people, how do you make, when this little rumor is going around, Clay's racist, he wants to sit on that. How do you stop that?
For people who weren't here earlier, I tried to access Clay's website from my computer, and sure enough, it's blocked, and this message comes up, Lincoln Library Internet, this message comes up that says this website has been blocked by the institution you're in, and then it says removing the sex content, which there's none on his website, is that not?
There's none in my life, my God,
Amazing, you can see it for yourself afterwards.
But this is being done to us all. I mean, it's not just me. It's when I told you they listed me in the extremists in the FBI, I made 2 phone calls. The first was Governor Gary Johnson. He said, don't worry about it, Clay. I said, well, that's easy for you to say, Governor. I think somebody's trying to get me killed here. He said, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. The next call I made was to the chief of police, state police in New Mexico, who was listed on this booklet. And so, huh?
He was too?
Yeah, well, he was listed as a contact for the FBI, right? And so I called him up. And he says, don't worry about it, Clay. And I said, you know, you guys keep telling me this. You know, I am worried. He goes, Clay, I've been reading your magazine for the last 10 years. You don't have a thing to worry about from me or any of my men. I said, well, what about the cop in little podunk, Socorro, New Mexico? He sees this, he thinks I'm some kind of dangerous character. You know, what about him? He said the governor recalled all those booklets from every police office in New Mexico. Thanks, guys. See you later. But that's what they're trying to do, and they did it to. They tried to make sovereign citizens into bad. They tried to make it in right-wing extremism. They tried to make anybody that's a conspiracy theory. They're trying to demonize anyone that knows or is wanting to know what's going on here. And the oldest technique in warfare is divide and conquer. You know, I mean, you get and you get people coming on. Well, we need to kill all the Mexicans. We need to kill all the blacks. Well, dude, that makes you just as evil as anybody that we're trying to oppose. So you better hope there's not a race war, because I'll look you up and shoot you first. And what we're in is we're in really psychological warfare. The disadvantage here. You know, I've got certain talents. I've read so much. I mean, I could read 500 words a minute before I went into school. I can read 1,000 words a minute. I got 90% comprehension. Before I was 14, I read every science fiction book in the Fort Worth Public Library. I read Isaac Asimov, I read Robert A. Heinlein, I read Edgar Rice Burroughs, I read John D. MacDonald. Matter of fact, I read a couple of books based on kind of a follow-up to John D. MacDonald's Travis McGee series. I got that. All those books are right there, right now. But I'm not selling one a week. I'm not selling, you know, occasionally somebody will stumble across me. But they can't find me in the library, they can't get me in Intel, they can't get me in Intuit. I'm blocked, you know.
Have you tried Googling words that are relevant to your book and see if you don't come up on the list at all?
If you Google Free American or Clay Douglas, you get encyclopedias. You know, and you know, a lot of them come from the ADL trying to, you know, they'll tell you I even wrote bad poetry. I thought they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel, you know. I wrote my theme song. But, you know, what's interesting now for me, what I wrote 40 years ago is happening now. I'm going back and trying to edit it. I finally got it. For 40 years I've been carrying around in a box, and I finally found the lady that typed it in for me, so I've got it on the computer now. And it's called Solomon Series. And when I do that, when I get that one refined, I mean, I'm having to do a little bit of editing on it. I wrote about offices filled with electric typewriters. They don't exist anymore. I'm editing that, calling them computers now. But what I wrote so long ago is happening now with the medical marijuana. I mean, in California, you can walk down Venice Beach and smoke a joint, and you don't have to worry about going to jail. Nobody stopped to ask you if you got an ID, if you got a prescription or not. They just don't talk about it anymore. So we still got steps to go. But, it was kind of, that was kind of funny. I thought, I thought, wow, this is really neat, man. We medical marijuana here. For the first time in 40 years, I might not be a criminal. I can't get it. Two reasons. One, I don't lie. I just don't. If you don't want to, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask me. I won't lie. You know. And I haven't been to a doctor since I walked out of the hospital and told them to cremate it. So, I'm too healthy for marijuana. The reason I'm so healthy is because I've been smoking it for 40 years. And that's the reason I'm healthy. That's the reason I don't have cancer. That's the reason I don't have asthma. And it cures cancer too, by the way. Did you know that?
I'd like to see the evidence to see that.
Dear?
Not
Always good
evidence.
Go to PhoenixCares.com. He's in hiding. I just had him back on my show again. I had him on there 10 years ago. He cured all of his neighbors with cancer using him. And Harvard came out and said if you smoke marijuana, you're less likely to get lung cancer. So the research is there, but they don't want to tell you about it. It's kind of like hiding the UFOs. It's kind of like hiding the UFOs. You know why they don't want you to know about the UFOs? That's right. I mean, if we could go have lunch on the moon, and actually one of my characters does that. His Harley hauler is a UFO that can turn invisible and, fly almost to the speeds of light. And that kind of brings me to my screenplay. The screenplay that I'm doing is called The Lucifer Legacy. And it's based on a short story I did 40 years ago. I was pretty prolific 40 years ago. The Lucifer was the first mate or the co-captain on the Earth ship built by the Atlanteans to survive the last passing of Planet X that I called in my short story The Conjunction. And it was the conjunction that sunk Atlantis. So the advanced beings who could communicate by telepathy, they built Earth ships, UFOs, that would survive the passing of worlds in collision. Voloski's scenario is what I use. Mars and Venus crossing too close, and the floods causing the floods, and they sunk Atlantis. The co-captain was named Lucifer Arch. The captain was called Tetragrammaton Lord, and I may change that to Yahweh. And I used to ask myself, now, why would God not want Adam and Eve to know the difference between good and evil? Why would they not? Why would God not want that? Well, because if they do that, they don't make good slaves. If they know the difference between good and evil, they don't make good slaves. And I think we've been a slave colony, a slave planet here, for probably thousands of years. In my novel, my science fiction novel, my characters are the ones that are, they're kind of divided. Yahweh, Tetragrammaton Lord, the captain of the Earth ship, his wife was killed, and he went mad. He went crazy and kicked Lucifer out of the Earth ship heaven into the hell that was Earth at the time. And Lucifer went through, because he long lived over maybe 1,000 years like Methuselah. And